Hey everybody, Ryan Polimeni here from Level Up Advisors Academy. I first and foremost want to say what an honor it is to be a part of this 8% Nation virtual conference that Cody Askins has put on. You talk about a visionary, right? These kind of people come along once in a lifetime. You see a Cody Askins who is absolutely revolutionizing the industry for the good. I've never seen anything like it, and I could not be more proud to be a part of it. And to get to know Cody over the last couple of years has been an incredible journey, watching him go from the inaugural 8% Nation to battling the pandemic and still overcoming those objectives. But here's the thing, is he's here and he's doing this and he's helping a lot of people. And so I'm fortunate to be able to give back just for a few minutes here. And the title and the topic of this conference is You Cannot Fail If You Don't Quit. And man, I could tell you, over the last 12 years, I think I've wanted to quit every single day. A lot of the times, like some of you, I have been so down in this business. And I remember when I first got started, I'm going on almost 12 years now. I can't believe how fast that went by. But I remember, starting off when I was 21 years old, and I had no idea what I was doing. Probably like some of you, you got your insurance license, you're like, all right, what's next? Right? That's where I was. I was 21 years old. I had no money, struggling just to pay for a lead, struggling just to buy a lead, and hoping to God that lead worked. Right? It was the one thing, like, this lead has to work or I'm going to die. And when it didn't, man, I remember how disappointing that was. And I remember feeling like, what am I going to do next? Like, where's my next lead going to come from? Where's my next check going to come from? And I remember early on in my career, seeing the eviction notice on my door. I don't know if you ever felt that, but man, that is such a hard thing to balance when you're trying to stay positive and you're trying to build the business and make some money, but things just aren't happening. And I remember wanting to quit all the time during, my first 4 or 5 years in business. It wasn't easy. I know some people come out of the gate smoking, they make $100,000 in like a month. I'm like, congratulations. That wasn't me. And so maybe it's not you either. But I remember, the first couple years just trying to figure this business out. And I know some of you have seen me now, and I do a lot of stuff on the IULs and the annuities, and I teach master classes, and don't get me wrong, I've had the privilege of teaching and coaching over 4,000 agents and advisors in the financial business, and it's been my honor. But I'm going to tell you this, there's a lot of commonalities that I want to talk about today, and when you're in that trenches, right, when you're in the trenches and you want to quit, what are some of the things that will keep you going? And so here's what I want to say. Over the last 12 years of working with 4,000 plus people, the commonalities become very clear on the mega producers, right? So maybe you want to become a mega producer. Maybe you want to be the next Cody Askins and the CEO of your company. And I promise you this, it is possible. It is possible. The last 5 years of my career have been the best 5 years, and I'm explaining to you some changes that I've made and that anybody can make. There's nothing. You see a lot of these big producers. I promise you, there's nothing special about them. This is like rocket science to me a lot of the time. I can't figure it out most of the time, but I do know how to do something, and it's how to simplify the process. And so what I want to touch upon today is going from the salesman mentality to becoming the CEO of your company. Because I promise you this, for the first 5 years of my business, when I was out there selling mortgage protection and final expense and just kind of scraping by and thinking that I was doing good, which I had some great times and I learned a lot, but I was thinking as a salesman. And so there's a mind shift change that has to happen in order for you to get to the next level. Because some of you may be going through this transition period, or you may be struggling a little bit going, I've been doing this for so long and I don't feel like I'm at the level where I should be or where I want to be. Trust me, I was there. I've been there. It is not a fun place to be. And so in 2015, I made some changes in my business. And this is where, if you're taking notes, I want you to write these things down, because there's subtle differences that can change the trajectory of your entire business. But you alone have to make them. And here's the thing. If you're going to quit, you're going to fail. But in order to not quit when times get hard, if you start thinking like a CEO, here's the first thing you have to start making considerations for. Number one is, where are you going? You see, when I was down and out, like a lot of you have been, I have gotten beat up so badly in the last 12 years of my career, knocking on doors, getting doors slammed in my face, getting kicked out of people's homes just because, I was trying to make a sale and it wasn't happening. Like, man, I know the frustration. But I'll tell you this, in those times, in the hardest times of my career, the thing that got me through it was having clarity and vision of where I was going. So for those of you guys maybe just getting started, or maybe you're in that position where you're going, I'm capped out. Like I don't see a way to get to the next level. I want to start challenging you to start thinking like the CEO of your company. Because for a long time, again, I was the salesman. I was out there just trying to make a sale to make a living. And it was like the hamster wheel over and over again. But I started going, listen, I want more than this. I'm not going to do this forever. I can't do this forever. I'm burnt out. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having any fun. That was the moment in 2015 where I sat at my kitchen table and told my wife that. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I am so burnt out. I'm so tired of spinning my wheels and living the same year over and over and over again. What do I mean by that? Right? You make the same amount of sales, same amount of money over and over and over. See, that's not growth. That's living the same year over and over and over. So if you're going to have growth, you have to next know where you're going. And sometimes it's taking risks and really putting yourself out there to learn something different in this industry to get to the next level. And so vision is one of the most important things in your business. I promise you this, any CEO that you will go and you interview, the reason that they have built such a great company is because they know where they're going. And they are experts at painting the vision to their entire team, to their staff of where they are going. It's a way to keep people motivated. And those days when you're down and out, your vision is what's going to keep you going. I love when Helen Keller talked about that. She said, what's worse than being blind? Having sight with no vision. I heard that in 2015. It's one of those things where when things are bad and you hear something like that, it was for a purpose. And I started thinking about, I don't have a vision of where I'm going. I'm just out here trying to make a living, trying to feed my family like everybody else, but I don't know what the end goal is here. I don't know what the end game is. Do you? And so that's something that I had to think about. And so as I started going, there's more to this than where I am. I started getting very clear on where I wanted to go. I had a purpose for my business. I had a mission statement finally created for my business of where I was going to be. A vision of where I am now, but where I'm going to be in 10 years from now. You see, I know that when we're trying to make this one sale work, all you think about is that one thing, because if it doesn't, you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. Oh God, I remember being there. It's so difficult. But in those moments, when it doesn't work out, if you know where you're going in the next 5 years, this one thing today is a lot smaller than you think it is. Because if you miss this one, there's going to be the next one. But if you don't know where you're going and you don't have that vision, this is going to be the end day for you. This is it. You're going to quit after this person tells you no because you can't take it anymore. And I remember being there. And so in 2015, I had to make some serious changes to my business. And you think about that, that was only 6 years ago. I was broke 6 years ago. So some of you see me now, and if you see me on interviews with Cody, you know the incomes and all the things that I've done, which have been great. But that was 5 years ago. I couldn't pay my rent. So my point is that it can happen quickly, but you have to make the changes. So here's what we're going to do. This is what changed for me. I started learning how to run my business in phases, because here's what I figured out. A CEO is not stuck on this one thing because he or she knows where they're going in 10 years, 5 years from now. So that vision allows you to go, okay, this is where we are phase 1 today. But what does phase 2 of my business look like? You see, phase 1 for me, and maybe this is where you are, phase 1 for me was figuring this business out, figuring out the life insurance side of it, right? Figuring out what a term, whole life, mastering my presentation, and then getting to the next level of, man, these annuities, these IUL things make no sense to me. So I realized in that moment, that was phase 2 for me. It was mastering phase 1, making some money, learning how the game works, to get to the next phase of my business. I'll tell you this. If you're going to win the game, you have to have knowledge others don't. What I mean by that is this. As you develop in your career and in this business, the reason that people produce at an incredible level is they just know more. That's what it really comes down to. Because I probably, 5 years ago, I didn't understand taxes. I had no idea what estate planning was. Wealth management, I'm not doing that. Annuities, I can't even spell the word annuity. Here I am 5-6 years later doing over $1 million a month in annuity premium. I didn't know what that was 5 years ago. But I realized that if I'm going to win this game, if I'm going to get to the elite level, the first thing I have to do is know more than everybody else. I became a student of the game. So part of every phase that you're in your business, you have got to become a student of the game in that particular phase. Again, point, you may be phenomenal at the life insurance side, but you suck like I did at the annuity side and the IUL side. So phase 2 is while you're out selling the life insurance, mortgage protection, whatever it is, Medicare, to pay the bills, at nighttime, you need to be studying the other part of the next phase of your business. And that's all I've done. So every time I knew where I was going, right? Because again, vision, clarity, whenever we have vision and we know where we're going, you know what the next phase is. You're just not there yet. So when you're getting to the next phase, you just got to study what the next one is and become a master at it before you even jump into it. Now, don't get, I know people sit there and study and never do it. That's different. You have to be studying to be prepared for when the coach calls your number, right? And I want you to think about this. We talk about winning the game. Every game is won or lost before it's even played. So for those of you sports players, I'll give you an analogy here because this is how you start changing your mindset to become better. So think about this. You can either go into this business thinking, I hope it works. This is it for me. Maybe you're older and you're like, this is my last hurrah, right? But your mindset is going to dictate the level that you get to in business. It's the same thing in sports, right? If I'm a soccer player, which I am, and I'm a defender, and I know that I am going to have to guard the best striker or forward in the league, I've got two choices. I can go into that game going, this guy is the best, or she is the best, and I'm going to struggle all day. I can't believe I have to, mark this person today. Or I can go into it going, this is going to be the hardest game of his entire season because I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to dominate that person. I'm not going to let them do anything. I've got their number today. You see, when you start thinking about that, think about the attitude, right? Think about the posture that you go into with something like that. That's how you have to treat your business. That's how you have to treat the next phase of your business going, I'm going to dominate this game. So when I started transitioning into the annuity world, I didn't know how to spell the word annuity 5 years ago. But when I got into that side of the world, I started going, I'm going to kill this thing. There will be nobody in this space that outproduces me because I'm going to become a student of the game. I'm going to learn everything that I possibly can about this side of the world so that when I do compete, not only am I competing, but I'm winning the game. So your job as a CEO of your company is to win the game for your family, for your staff, for your agents, and for you personally, for your internal self-belief in yourself. Because I promise you this, as you become better, your self-belief becomes better. See, I didn't believe in myself 5 years ago. Maybe you're in the same situation where you are just down and out and you're like, I can't do this anymore. I didn't have any self-belief. My God, I had no self-esteem. I was burnt out and dead. But as you become better, as you become more skilled, your belief level goes through the roof. And I'll tell you this, running a business in phases gives you the incredible clarity that you need. And as you become more clear as to what the next level is for you, self-confidence becomes very easy. When you know more than others, self-confidence becomes very easy. You look at some of the stuff that I've been able to do, and again, you see me on the interviews, and I hear it all the time, like, I could never do what you do. I could never do $1 million a month in annuities. 5 years ago, I didn't even know, again, I didn't know what an annuity was. And $1 million a month, forget about it. I'm lucky just to do, $100,000 a year. Like, I'd be fired up about that. But as I started developing the belief in myself and developing the knowledge of what it took to become that level, here's the next thing you got to do as you run these business phases. To get to that level, sometimes you got to get around the heat. No, all the time you need to get around the heat. And so think about that for a minute. Who is someone around you that you can learn from and grow from? You know, we call it the mentor, right? So maybe there's a mentor, somebody that you want to be mentored by, to get to that level. And so let me tell you a little bit how my story transitioned from the life insurance world to the annuity side. In 2015, when I was dead and I was dead broke, I had no self-confidence in myself anymore. I hated this business. I wanted to quit. My wife said, you're not going to do this. You are better than this. You are going to pick yourself up and you're going to go figure it out. Thank God I had that support system because I'd be out of the business today. But what I started doing was looking at the industry and going, okay, who are the players, right? Who are the players in the industry? And what I dedicated an entire year to doing was getting around the heat as often as I possibly could, learning nuggets here and there from everybody that I could possibly learn from. And so, even to the point, so when you get in motion, like when you're building a business and you start getting in motion, the universe starts moving things around for you to put things in your lane that help you get to the next level faster. Now, you can either take it or you can leave it. If you take it, you're going to do a lot better. But if you're not clear as where you're going, and all of a sudden you get this break and you don't use it because you don't see it, that's a problem. But when you're in motion and you're clear on where you're going, things become easier. So watch this. 2015, I started thinking about how do I become a phenomenal annuity producer? How do I get into the world of wealth management where I can, meet with high net worth clients that would actually listen to me? I was 30 years old at the time. I was 28 years old. Think, who's going to listen to a 28-year-old about wealth management? I'm broke. I don't have $500 in my bank account. But I didn't care about that because I knew where I wanted to go. And I knew that this was phase 2 of my business. So I moved. My wife and I, we lived in West Palm Beach, Florida. Not many people know the story. We lived in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we moved all the way 4 hours to Tampa, Florida. Why? Because I met a gentleman that was doing $20 million a year from his office. And I'm like, $20 million a year in annuity volume? I can't even imagine doing $1 million at that point. $20 million, my God, I need to be around there. So we literally shut down our office. I moved out of the apartment that I was in, and we moved all the way over to Tampa, Florida. And for a year and a half, I spent every day in my mentor's office. I literally moved into the building where he was. I actually took an office in his office, but a little corner desk, right? It wasn't making any money, it wasn't a salary. I didn't care about that, and neither should you. Sometimes when you get an opportunity, you got to take it and run with it, and it doesn't matter what you need to do to make it happen, you do it. So for a year and a half, I went to every one of his seminars. I was the one that was checking people in the room. I made sure that the chairs were set up properly. I made sure that the presentation board, was ready to go, that the clicker had, whatever I had to do just to be a fly on the wall to learn a little bit. Right? These are the sacrifices you have to make sometimes, and I had the ability to do this. So again, but that happened because I was in motion. So during that year and a half, I became a student of the game. So as you run your business to the next phase, whether it's the annuity or recruiting or building a team, what does that phase entail? No matter where you are, it's about becoming a student of the game. So for a year and a half, I became a student. And in 2016, I had my number called. I had the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to go and help open up a marketplace in the federal space. I do a lot of work with federal employees. I had an opportunity to go to Connecticut. I live in Florida, but to go all the way to Connecticut and open up a marketplace that changed my entire business. From 2016 to here we are now, we have become one of the largest federal agencies in the entire United States, but it was that one decision. Hey, how about the decision of living in Florida and traveling back and forth to Connecticut when you have no money? That's a whole nother story because sometimes, again, when you know where you're going, it doesn't matter. You do things. I remember when I was in Connecticut not having any money, and my aunt lives in Connecticut, let me borrow her car with no AC. And this was July in New England. So here I am bopping around New England and Connecticut trying to meet with clients in a 1992 Toyota Corolla with no AC, sweating so much that every time I got to the office, I would have to change my clothes before the clients came in. Those are the kind of things that you just do. You just do because you know it's the right thing, because you know where you're going, and there's nothing that's going to stop you from getting there. So I want to just remind everybody how talented everybody is. Listen, I don't care what your background is, where you've come from. You are talented. It is your job to nurture that talent. It is your job to pull that out of you when nobody else will, because you are the CEO of your business. Nobody else is. You made a decision to get into the financial world, to create your own schedule, to create your own financial opportunity, to become financially free, and to build a business, a legacy for your family. But only you can do that. It's up to you to take the necessary steps to get to that level. You know, one of my favorite movies is A Bronx Tale. Maybe you've heard this quote where he's talking to his son. He goes, son, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And it's decisions every day that you make that change your life. And so I want you to start thinking about that. Where are you today? Are you wasting your talent? There's so much wasted talent out there. 8% Nation is about the 8% that make it to the top. It's about the 8% that did not quit. The 8% that found the talent and pulled it up out of them. You have it in you. The question is are you ready to take it to the next level? By being here, I believe that you're ready, because you made a decision to be a part of this event, and I know you're going to continue to keep investing in yourself and your business. I can't wait to watch it. I know Cody Askins is your biggest cheerleader, and he has put this on to help everybody in the financial industry grow to their next level. I'm here to help. He's here to help. We'll see you at the top.